Hey there, Nancy Love, live from California. Today it's December the 14th, 2020. I'm making one of the videos for the Planet Peace Project. Our concepts about a peaceful person in a conflicted world. We'll work on the conflicted world later. Approach avoidance. It's an interesting concept, and ironically, not a lot of people have heard of it, but virtually everyone alive has done it. To approach yet also avoid something is social sciences. It's actually a very normal phenomenon that we've all engaged in at times. To both approach and try to avoid something, to both be attracted to something and also fear it for various reasons, is extremely normal. But if you realize that that's what's happening, you're going to be able to eliminate some self sabotage, be able to make more clear, more productive decisions. To both approach and avoid something, it's where you know that there are good things, there are obvious good things about the decision you want to make or something that's coming toward you. Something it's you fear something, or you perceive some potential danger, or you think it might be exhausting. The good things might be financial rewards, romantic rewards, spiritual rewards, domestic rewards, like a nicer place to live or a better city to live in. And the other thing that we need to consider is weighting these things, or a value assessment of these things, because not all these things are created equal. You could have, and I suggest you make lists just like this. Do a two-columned list whenever you're trying to make a big decision. For example, what university to attend, or whether to move from Los Angeles to San Diego, or whether to work for the National Security Agency, or try to get into the film industry, or you see what I'm saying? Whether clear your mind marvelously by looking at things from an approach avoidance standpoint. So if I pause, it's because there may be a discontinuity in my Wi-Fi feed, and I don't want to be talking when I'm not being recorded. Now, I'll give you a few examples. Let's say you're going to get married, and you're thrilled because you love the person you're about to marry, but you also um, wonder if you're actually marrying the right person. You may be wondering if you're marrying that right person at the right time, to her in-laws, or vice versa. You may have hints about whether you all should bear children, and it becomes a point where you really wonder if you're doing the right thing. But on a lot of levels, you believe that you are, or you would not be involved in that to begin with. There's another, the classic use of child. You don't know much about raising children, but you're gonna have to do it. It's on its way, and you're thrilled because you love the person you're having a baby with, let's say, or you are somebody who's been deeply committed to parenthood all your life, and this is finally your chance to actually be a good parent. You've got this great opportunity in front of you. There are also things you might fear. Let's say in this one, you've got opportunity coming for a kind of meaningful service that you've never had before. But over here, you got your avoidance things, the things about being a parent that you fear. And some of them might be scary, like the response you have to, your main job as a parent is to prevent it from killing itself, because they can get into danger all the time. Maybe you're worried about the financial aspects, or how is getting daycare going to sink you into your professional life. So they're, and yet simultaneously frightening. I apologize if this is discontinuous. It's because the signal keeps cutting. Making. Let's say you have a job that you're considering. There are going to be obvious financial rewards. Maybe you'll be able to afford a better place to live. Maybe you're going to be moving to a city that you consider. Avoidance things might be You think your employer is sort of domineering, or you wonder if you're up to all the new responsibilities. So you're approaching it from various standpoints and you're avoiding it from various standpoints. What this can actually do is lead to a start stop. You It's called approach avoidance for a reason. You advance towards something, you stall. You go ahead and advance toward it again, and yet you back away. You can be called a vacillator because of these vacillations. You want it, you fear it. You desire it, you're scared of it. You're attracted to it, but you avoid it for reasons that are often very personal. And this is why, here again, is the cost worth the gain? There may be very, very obvious gains. There may be very, very obvious costs. So you see what I'm saying here. This is not a sign of mental illness. This is something every single one of us has done. But if you know you're doing it, then you can stop it. And making a list like this, where you list the benefits, you list the costs, can be extremely important. It's simple accounting, but it's the accounting of life. Now, here's where we get to an extremely important concept called weighting or the value assessment. Because when you get to, let's say, the classic example of you're about to become a parent, the approach exactly the same number of that would prevent you from moving forward. But they are weighted differently, valued differently for everyone. Which of these are the most attractive? Which of these are the most frightening? Here again, when you're getting to something like a marriage or a job, um, the good things might seem obvious, the bad things might seem obvious, but really want to do that work. You feel it's your time to uh, find that kind of meaningful service. Could completely overwhelm or be weighted more heavily than all the bad things put together. I would think of another example though. Let's say you're about to marry someone that you love, and there might be some real opportunities there. You might have a wonderful home. You might have, you might benefit financially from living with two incomes rather than one, and so forth. But let's say the person has revealed to have a violent temper. And this happens. I've talked to people, I've canceled people in and out of marriages because they knew or they feared that behavior already exhibited by their potential spouse was frightening. So here you get the scary and dangerous over here on the avoidance list, right? And no matter how much you love this person and no matter what other obvious benefits or costs would come with it, maybe your family likes the person, whatever, your family isn't going to like the person when they have to visit you in the hospital because the person is violent. And if you've already seen violent behavior on the part of your potential spouse, that negate the marriage. You might want to tear up that list and say, I just made one of the most wholesome and healthy decisions of my entire life. Now I think that I've made it really obvious what approach avoidance is all about. I think that when you make your list, and you should, when you're making any major life, be sure to weigh the value and assess the value of things on both sides. Because if you have something that's overwhelmingly good, like um, the spiritual benefits of becoming a parent, or the scary aspects of becoming potentially being a battered spouse, then you're going to see very, very clearly. And all this approach avoidance, all this vacillation, all the wondering about what you should do will disappear when you can see it this clearly on a piece of paper in black and white. This is Nancy Love for the Planet Peace Project, and this is one of the micro peace studies, helping you be a peaceful person in a conflicted world. Thank you for your attention.